Okay, to continue our discussion, the next topic would be the basic types of organizational structure. So, what are these types of organizational structure that is present in the organization? So, we need to categorize the arrangement of organizations into 8 types of structure. So, we have at least 8 structure. The first one is the simple structure for small firm. From the word itself, simple, recursion structure. Next would be the functional structure for groupings by similar work specialties. Third would be the divisional structure. Fourth would be the conglomerate structure. Fifth would be the hybrid structure. Sixth would be the matrix structure. Seventh would be the team-based structure, and lastly, the network structure. So we'll be discussing these 8 types of organizational structures in the next slide. So for the first one, we have the simple structure or small firm. So an organization with a simple structure has authority centralized in a single person, a flat hierarchy, few rules, and low work specialization. From the word itself, simple lang nga structure. So isa ra ka buok ang gina-follow, centralized ang authority sa isa ka people. Let's say for example, isa ka cafe. So ikaw ang manager at the same time ang owner, gatrabaho ka as a barista. At the same time, na kay kuan subordinates nga cashier lang og isa ka server. So tulo ra mo ka buok sa imong small nga cafe. So that means that is just a very simple na structure, small, especially for gagmay pa nga mga businesses, mga firm. So the second one would be the functional structure, groupings by similar work specialties. So people with similar occupational specialties are put in together into informal groups. So ang functional structure po sa i-base ka sa imuhang specialty. Let's say for example, kay maayo man ka magluto, then dadto ka sa kitchen, na belong ka dadto nga department. Kay maayo man ka mag count og money, dadto ka sa mga cashiers. Let's say for example, sa isa ka cafe. So that is the functional structure. You are going to be grouped into similar work specialties or departmentalized functional structure. So this is the example for simple structure, owner o administrative assistant. More siya sole proprietorship na type of business. Owner lang o assistant nimo. So kamura duha ang gatrabaho sa imong business. Well, functional, we have at least 2 examples for business and for hospital. So for business daw, we have the president here at the top. Then natin vice president sa marketing, sa finance, sa production, and VP for human resource. So natay upat ka type of vice president daw based on their function. So that is an example for functional structure. While for a hospital, say for example, the chief administrator, so murag head gyud sa hospital, naputay chief of medical services, directors administrative services, directors sa outpatient services, and also for nutrition and food services. So, in any example sa functional structure, based sa function nimo ang imuhang organization or ang structures imong organization. Okay? So, we also have the third one, the divisional structure. So, grouping by similarity or purpose. So, it would be based on the purpose or you are going to be divided or departmentalized based on the purpose. So people with diverse occupational specialties are put together into informal groups by similar products or services, customers or clients or geographic region. So we have product division and customer division. So based on a similarity or purpose. So the first one, it could be divided by based on the product that you produce. Say for example, by similar products or services, or group activities around a similar. Okay, divisional structure again, groupings by similarity or purpose. So whether the purpose is by product or customer. So people with diverse occupational specialties are put together in informal groups by similar products or services, whether it is clients or even geographical regions. So for product division, groupings by similar products or services, group activities around similar products or services. So all of those, let's say for example, katong department nga focus in producing the product itself. Like let's say sa marketing, processing, operations, and so on and so forth. So it under sila sa product nga division. Next would be customer division, grouping by common customers or clients. Tend to group activities around common customers or clients. Geographic divisions, grouping by regional locations, group activities around defined regional location. So whether based on customer themselves, let's say the customer is in Mindanao, the customer is in Luzon. So most of these divisional structure would be put on those areas or in general term or in layman's term, i-grupo mo based sa inyong mga kliyente. Let's say for example, kani nga imong mga business. Okay, sa agribusiness nga company, ang imuhang aim kay mga farmer. So nag-produce ka og mga fertilizers. So probably kani nga mga departments kay focus ani nga customer sa Mindanao nga area, nag-specialize sila dira. Kay kabalo man sila nga lahi mag-weather ang sa Mindanao compared to Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, so on and so forth. So that's it for the basic types of organizational structure. So as you can see here, this is the divisional structure. Natay tulo ka example. So product division structure. We have the president, we have TV, um, motion pictures and television division, music, magazine and book, internet product division. So product based man yang ato ang division. So for the president itself, mas Walt Disney. I think an example is for Walt Disney. So we have these product divisional structure. Okay. So whether si Walt Disney nagkuan siya na produce og sa TV, na pud siya producers for music, sa iyang magazines and books, and also for the internet products themselves. Well, for customer divisional structure, we have this example. Atong focus kay farmer. Okay, si farmer man isa ra ka customer daghan tag ihatag sa ilang nga services, whether consumer loan, mortgage loans, business loan, or agricultural loan. So customer base daw ni maghatag-hatag lahi-lahi nga service themselves. Well, for geographic divisional structure, as you can see, natay pila-pila ka region. We have western, northern, southern, and eastern. So based po ni sa geographical locations atong customers. So people in the western region are mas okay, so this is an example for geographic divisional structure. So based on the location of the customers themselves. So this is an example for divisional structure under organizational design and structure. So let's continue. So we have the conglomerate structure. So grouping by industry. So group divisions or business units around similar businesses or industry. So you are going to be grouped together. Let's say for example, daghan kay kaog company. So mas siya og related diversification in which imong mga business are interrelated with one another. So grouping by industry. Well, next one is the hybrid structure, functional and divisional used within the same organization. So an organization uses functional and divisional structures in different parts of the same organization. So si hybrid kay kuan functional ug divisional kay gigamit. Okay? Murag i-combine ang duha nga type or structure of organization kay mas kuan man siya mas appealing or mas banga or bagay or angay ra pud ani nga company. So last, we also have the matrix structure, a grid of functional and divisional for two change of command. For two chains of command ni siya ha. An organization combines functional and divisional change of commands in a grid so that there are two command structure, vertical and horizontal for matrix themselves. So let's try to look at these examples. One is the conglomerate. As you can see, we have the president, na siya electronic, fire and security, healthcare, plastic and adhesive, and engineered products and services. So conglomerate, lahi-lahi ang iyahang mga businesses, but lahi-lahi ang mga businesses, but still mura gina-serve lang gyapon nila sa ka-customer. So lahi-lahi siya, diversified pud ang iyahang business. When you say conglomerate, while next one would be hybrid. The hybrid, we have product divisional, katong gi-combine si divisional og si, okay, in a minute, si divisional og si functional na model. As you can see here, natay product and functional and geographic na divisional structure. So CEO sa General Motors, sa GE, natay president sa Cadillac, so sa car ni siya, president sa Buick, president sa Pontiac ug Chevrolet. So natay product divisional structure. So based on product ang differences. So each dayon nga president na po sila lahi-lahi nga vice president. Okay, lahi-lahi man sila nga type of car. So each car should have VP for production, for marketing, finance, and human resources. So sila upat dapat na po sila VP nga lahi og functions. And lastly, geographic division. So each VP should have different managers in all regions na available. Na ilahang gina distribute ang car themselves. So that's for the hybrid structure. So next would be the matrix structure. As you can see, combination gyapon siya sa functional nga structure. So natay lahi-lahi nga VP for for engineering, finance, production, and marketing. At the same time, each VP shall have different project managers. Let's say, for example, VP for engineering, nasa lay project sa Taurus, Taurus na car, Mustang, Explorer, Expedition. So each of them will have, I will take part ani nga mga lahi-lahi nga products themselves. That's why matrix. So we have magtagbo-tagbo ra sila, interconnected with one another. So each of that car or the product will go past through each of the vice presidents. So this is the matrix structure. Next would be the team-based structure, eliminating functional barriers to solve problems. The team-based structure, teams or work groups, either temporary or permanent, are used to improve horizontal relations and solve problems throughout the organization. So team-based na structure based on the team themselves, they are um, working together in order to help solve the problems of the organization. And lastly, and last, we have the network structure connecting a central core to outside firms by computer connection. So the organization has a central core that is linked to outside independent firms by computer connection, which are used to operate as if all were a single organization. So network, mura siya o kanang computer ba nga we are connected in one network which is the internet themselves. So let's try to look at the team-based structure first. Muna yung team-based structure, medyo complicated siya. We have president, VP for research, for design, engineering, marketing. So they are connected with one another sa tanan ng product team. Under manufacturing sa light truck, sa mga sports car, and so on and so forth. So, check sila sa overall ng mga production team sa tanan ninyo nga mga product. So, they overlook each of the team. So, tutok yun sila sa isa ka team ang tanan sa mga vice president that is present here. That's why it is team-based. So, for network, more siging ani. More siya og computer. We have core of personal computer company, which is the US, nasa design studio, nasa Sweden. Components assembly sa Mexico, distribution company sa Canada, accounting and finance sa US, and engineering company sa Japan. So, more siya og ingani ang network. So, lagyo kay ang mga places, um, or mga departments or areas in which makahelp og connect or make a certain product. So, mo ni siyang example. So, let's say for example sa Apple. Ang Apple is US-based actually. iPhone ninyo, ang iPhone. So, gina-design daw siya sa Sweden para gwapa ka siyang dagway. Designed in Sweden, then ang mga components kay himo sa Mexico or sa Asia kay medyo barato, dali ra pud kay ma-source out. Next would be gina-distribute sa Canada kay daghan sila channel. Third would be ang accounting and finance kay sa US, kay US-based man pud apilang taxes. And lastly, ang mga parts probably is sa Japan gikan. That's it for the network structure. So next would be the contingency design. So what could be the contingency design? So it is the process of fitting the organization to each environment. So from the word itself, contingency, you need to look for backup plans or mga what if. So you need to look for i-design nga, a design nga ma-fit yun siya sa organization. Maangay ra siya sa inyong process, inyong structure itself. So managers take a contingency approach in which they must consider the following factors in designing the best kind of structure for their particular organization at that particular time. So we have the first one, environment, so mechanistic versus organic nga environment. Second would be differentiation versus integration. Third would be size. Fourth would be technology. And lastly, life cycle. So these are the factors we need to consider. So let's discuss these factors. So the first one, we have the environment. So we have mechanistic versus organic organization. So this is by Burns and Stocker nga model. So mechanistic organization as opposed to an organic organization. Here, every job is broken down into the smallest of steps, and the whole process is automated. So as you can see, mechanistic or organic. Kung mechanistic yani, that means nga more on machines ang imong i-use. So when rigidity and uniformity works best, authority is centralized, tasks and rules are clearly specified, and employees are closely supervised. So under mechanistic organization, very strict to daw mo, and mostly ang ginagamit ninyo are machine. Okay, machine. Medyo stricted o dapat uniform gid ang inyong mga product or output nga ginahimo. Next would be organic organization, when looseness and flexibility works best. Authority is decentralized. There are few rules and procedures, and networks of employees are encouraged to cooperate and respond quickly to unexpected tasks. While organic is more like a natural journal organization in which all of you are part of the organization, part mo sa decision making, and so on and so forth. Compared to mechanistic nga murag mo follow ra gyud mo sa unsay order. Organic is more like na siya interaction, na siya teamwork. Okay? So that is under the environment. So mechanistic versus organic nga organization. Second would be the environment differentiation versus the integration. So this is by Lawrence and Lorsch model. So forces that impel the parts if an organization to move apart or come together. So forces that plays a part in the organization, whether imo siyang move together or not. Okay. The first one is differentiation. When forces push the organization apart, it is the tendency of the parts of an organization to disperse and be fragmented. Okay, kay tungod kay you are very diversified, but pero mo nagkasinabot, then dili mo magkahiusa. So you tend to work apart, work far apart from one another. Compared to integration, when forces pull the organizations together. It is the tendency of the parts of an organization to draw together to achieve a common purpose. So, integration, gina-pull niya ang mga organization together. Murag, ano siya, glue in which na um, make it closer together ang mga people, ang mga activities in the organization. So, they tend to achieve a common purpose for integration. So, nagkasinabot sa integration compared to differentiation nga, they tend to fall apart. Okay? Again, pulling together integration, pulling apart ang differentiation. Next would be the size. So the larger the organization, the more mechanistic. So organizational size is usually measured by the number of full-time employees. So the more subordinates that you have, the more it is tend to be mechanistic. Dapat mas uniform ang mga, dapat dapat kay mga kuan, dapat kay mga um, same og output para napud mo ka na bitang point of comparison, dapat kay mas uniform, mas dali mo ma-control if mechanistic na inyong organization. Kaya the larger, again, the organization, the more mechanistic it should be. Kaya para there is still control, there is still order in your organization itself. So next would be technology. So small batch, large batch or continuous process. So this is by Woodward's model. So technology consists of all the tools and ideas for transforming materials, data or labor, such as input, into goods or services, such as output. So under technology, again, these are the tools and ideas in order to process our um, goods or our final mga products. So first one, we have small batch technology, custom-made products made by organic organizations. So small batch technology. Often, the least complex technology goods are custom-made to customers' specification in small quantity. So, small batching technology, mayroon siya og kana bitaw customized nga mga item, customized nga mga goods ang inyong gaga-produce. Given nga gamay ra siya nga batch at the same time it's very specific, it's very detailed and tsada po siya ang quality. Next would be the large batch technology. So mass-produced products made by mechanized organization. Large batch technologies is mass production, assembly line technology. So large volume of finished products are made by combining easily available component parts. For large batch, more siya og kanang bitang daghan ka kay i-produce nga same ra og mga nawong. Dali ra pud siya ma-assemble. While continuous process, highly routinized products made by organic organizations, continuous process. It is highly routinized technology in which machines do all the work. So for continuous process, commercial small batch, pero mas pas-pas, mas dali gyapon ang pag-produce ng mga product. Okay. Well, for life cycle, four stages in the life cycle of an organization. Napuntay life cycle, namatay product life cycle to, napuntay life cycle sa atong organization. So just like the product, mo end po ang atong organization. We have these stages, natural sequence of stages. We have birth, use, midlife, and maturity. So at birth, it is more like non-bureaucratic. So birth stages is where the non-bureaucratic stage is present. So the stage in which the organization is created. So kamulo pa og establish ang organization. So here there are no written rules and to little to uh little to many supporting staff beyond perhaps a secretary. So for bureaucratic stage, mostly kay more simple pa yung organization, kamo pa duha siguro sa imong staff, sa imong secretary ang present under sa pag-open sa imong business. Stage 2, we have the youth stage for pre-bureaucratic. So the organization is in pre-bureaucratic stage of growth and expansion. So now the company has a product that is making headway in the market. So pahinay-hinay na og taas ang pre-bureaucratic. Hinahinay nagpataas sa life cycle ang youth stage. While midlife, the organization becomes bureaucratic itself, a period of growth involving into stability. So now the organization has a formalized bureaucratic structure, staff of specialists, decentralization of functional divisions, and many rules. Okay, many rules. Ang nakakuha sa midlife kay gaka-establish na siya og bureaucratic in which na natay mga processes. Okay, na ay nagamay or hanay na gyud ni actually diri well established na itong mga process at mga functions ang atong organization. Well, lastly, we have maturity stage in which it is very bureaucratic. So maturity stage is where the organization becomes very bureaucratic, large, and mechanistic. So kay ko naman yung nidako maayo ato ang um ato ang company. So this is where it hits the maturity stage, more on producing na lang gyud ta og kanang uniform nga mga products in here. So I guess that's it. If you don't have any questions, feel free to message me anytime. So just a brief review. So we have at least eight ka Eight what do you call that? Types of organizational structure. So it could be a simple, functional, divisional, conglomerate, hybrid, matrix, team-based, and network structure. And lastly, we have at least five cycles. The birth stage, stage one, stage two, use, stage three, middle life, and stage four, the maturity stage. So I will be ending my session here. A good system shortens the road to these goals. So that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions, we are done with the first chapter under chapter four. That's all. Thank you and goodbye.